want to make something. I've had this idea of the sheer lightweight outerwear for so long, but I have no proof of concept. Like some of these ideas, they kind of float around on the internet, but it's not like I don't have experience with them and they're not super common. And I just need a proof of concept just in terms of will I like wearing it? Someone, I forget who, but someone had said something to the effect of, isn't a midlife crisis essentially doing the things that you want to do instead of the things you're supposed to do? At least a little bit. And I could not agree more. And y'all know this is my midlife crisis brand. So yeah, if I don't like it, who cares? So I'm gonna make a thing. I went fabric shopping. I can't wait to show you what I got. You know, I'm not gonna get all overcomplicated with a pattern because I just wanna try it. And I am a track jacket wearing person. I own many track jackets of varying styles and aesthetics. And so I'm gonna make a Silk Azar track jacket. You know, I designed a very basic blouson-y shape. I wanna play with some drawstrings. Whether that makes it to the final round of cuts, I don't know, but I want to do like a black ribbon, maybe grosgrain, maybe satin, kind of depends on what I feel like. Drawstring, wrist, waist, neck. I'm going to do a very simple kangaroo pocket because if I'm doing something sheer, I don't want, I think there is a beautiful way to show like the guts of a welt pocket and the pocket bag and everything in here. But this is not what this jacket's about. This is about just kind of making a sample, wearing it out in public and running around in it and seeing how it feels, seeing how it interacts with the weather, like those kinds of things. So I'm just keeping things super, super simple. Okay. And to that effect, I went to buy some fabric. I went to Journal Fabric. There's a guy there named Bob. Bob is terrific. This is one of those stores. It's a banana store. You walk in and you're like, oh, look at these high ceilings. And then you keep going and you keep walking and they're like, oh, there's a lot of stuff here. Oh, there's more stuff here. Oh, there's more. Okay, there's up the stairs, around the corner, around another corner, and this is split into 2 rows. More stuff. Like it is deeper, more cavernous, more stacked with stuff that you could possibly imagine. And you're like, okay, so how am I supposed to find anything? Go find Bob. Go tell him the Asian girl on YouTube with the big thick glasses who likes to go fabric shopping with her husband, like she takes him everywhere, okay? Tell him I sent you and said Bob is the best, and just tell him. So I just walk in, I'm like, hi Bob, how are you? Bob, I need organza. And he's like, poly or silk? I say silk. He's like, what color? Black. And he just walks to wherever it is. Like he just knows the store. He just walks to wherever it is and pulls things out. And he's like, how about this? How about this? Let me explain something to you. This is an organza. It's made of polyester, okay? I've had this scrap for 100 years. And I use this as a pressing cloth, especially when I iron leather, okay? Don't steam leather and don't directly put your iron to leather. Always use a pressing cloth. And I always use a sheer pressing cloth so I can see what the hell is going on under here, okay? Avoid this hole, okay? This is an organza I've worked with before and I just have in my personal inventory. It's beautiful. It has a nice crisp body. It's extremely see-through. But do you see how crisp it is and how it's different from chiffon? Let me show you, okay? This is a chiffon I have in my personal inventory. And this is a polyester chiffon that I was using just to prototype. And polyester chiffon will be stiffer than silk chiffon most of the time. But do you see how I cannot hold up a corner? It just wilts because that's chiffon. I mean, that's not a criticism. It's It's chiffoning, okay? This is what chiffon does. It just flops around, okay? Whereas organza, its job is not to flop around, okay? Let me just not put black on black on black over here. Its job is to have more body and stick more straight up, okay? But this is very thin, and I wanted something thicker than that. And the other day I showed you a silk gazar, which I thought was too thick. I wanted something in between. So what do? I go see my friend Bob at Journal Fabric. And this is what he shows me. It's like more like a silk gazar. Some people will call it organza. Some people will call it silk gazar. What I call it is beautiful. So I bought the rest of the roll, which is 7 yards. Look at this. Look at this. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Look at the surface, okay? And it's so crisp. Hold on. Look at it's so crisp, you know, so it's curling, but it holds up like organza does, but it's sheer, semi-sheer, okay? Not as sheer as the other organza, okay? And look at the surface. Look at this face. Oh, it's so pretty. This is what they mean when they describe silk as lustrous, okay? Not shiny. Sometimes you hear the word glossy, but do you see how lustrous this looks? This is polyester. This is shiny, okay? Nothing wrong with that if you want shiny, but this is lustrous. Do you feel those soft highlights? If you've watched any of my fashion illustration rendering videos or saw the examples in my book, Fashion School in a Book, you know, I categorize them as hard shine and soft shine. And so when I have like a silk satin, silk gazar, these are soft shine, okay? Where the highlights are just like a lighter color of the original color and you see the luster, but it's soft. Where something like this is a hard shine. You see parts that are actually white because it's so hard, the shine, okay? Don't be gross. This is kind of what I want to make this out of. Oh, it's so pretty. Do. Okay? So that's what I got this for. I got this, okay, to test a prototype. And then I also, remember I said I showed you a couple of different linens. I showed you this one, which is again from my personal inventory. It's all cut into because I've used it before and it's fantastic. I have nothing against this linen, but it's too stiff, too thick for what I need. So of course I went to Bob and I was like, Bob, I need a linen and I need it to be really thin and like for dresses, not for like a jacket. And he shows me this. So look at this. So you can already tell how floppy and drapey this is much lighter than the one I just showed you. And it's so beautifully woven that, again, there's that word again, it's got a slight luster, okay? And it's just because it's so smooth and tightly woven and not because there's any shine to the fiber. It's linen, okay? And you're like, Zoe, you went to a jobber. What if he, you know, what if he doesn't know? Or what if it's mislabeled? And what if it's, okay, so listen. Whenever I would do fabric videos on my main channel, people would ask me all the time, hey Zoe, why don't you do burn tests? The only reason I don't do burn tests is because I have 10-year-olds on the main channel being like, Zoe, I want to be a fashion designer when I grow up. And I'm like, that's wonderful. That's fabulous. Let me not play with fire in front of 10-year-olds, okay? Just my own personal thing. If you are someone who can safely play with a match, this is metal, okay? This is metal. Please use like a walled tray like this, okay? You can get like, you know, like a cookie tray for pretty cheap at a thrift shop or a home goods shop, and it's got some walls to the sides. So when you're burning things, you can just throw things down if things get out of hand and it's metal and it's not gonna burn through like a file folder or a wooden tray, none of that stuff, okay? So this is actually a metal paint palette I use to mix paint. And here's the thing, okay? This is my old organza. This is my new silk gazar. This is my linen, okay? This is the polyester or chiffon that I just showed you that I use for prototyping, which I already knew was polyester, so no surprise, okay? And this is this polyester organza I use as my pressing cloth, which again, I knew was polyester. Now polyester, you can look up results of burn tests online. There's a lot of books about it. It'll bead. Do you see this hard, crusty bead at the end? Like, that's the plastic that's melted. It doesn't burn so much as it melts. It's like a hard, crusty bead. Okay, maybe that looks better, yeah. This is also polyester. Look at that hard. This is also polyester. Look at this hard, crusty bead that I can go like this and it won't come off because it is a hard, crusty plastic bead. Do you see this gold line? That's kind of the burn line, but it just burns off. Linen is cellulose. It burns like paper. It burns fast. It burns well, depending on how you like to use that word. And it leaves ash, but it burns off. But do you see how it ashes off? Okay, I burned that. And so now the ashes are coming off the edge that I burnt, okay? This is silk, also leaves ash. Silk is a protein, and so it smells like burning hair because hair is also a protein. Oh my God. Y'all, I said something online about using my fabric scissors to cut my own hair. People lost their ever-loving minds. They're like, you're ruining your scissors. Okay, first of all, it's all protein fibers, okay? Second of all, people in the industry cut fabric and paper together all the time, okay? This whole idea that you can never cut paper with your fabric scissors is bunk, okay? It's absolutely bunk. You can fight me 100 years in the comments and I will keep laughing at you, okay? People in the industry cut paper and fabric together all the time because when you have, especially dancy fabrics, you need a stabilizer. You know what doesn't dance? Paper, okay? They're not cutting it with like oak tag. They're cutting it with things that are like as flimsy as dot paper or even flimsier, tissue paper, you know, those kinds of things, but they're still cutting it with paper. And last but not least, you're supposed to get your scissors sharpened regularly anyway, which is how the industry does things. So this is silk. It smells like burning hair when you burn it because hair is a protein. And you see how stuff was crumbling? It doesn't form like a soft ash like the linen, which is a cellulose, but it crumbles, okay? It doesn't, I'll be doing this for an hour and the bead will just stick because it's melted plastic, okay? So if you're using a new jobber or you're feeling weird, just ask for a swatch. If they won't sell you a swatch, maybe they don't deserve your business, whatever. Maybe you like love it so much, but you're really paranoid. So ask for 1/8 of a yard, 1/4 of a yard, bring it home. I'm a big fan of buying a 1/4 yard anyway and just playing around it with within like just kind of a design sense anyway. And then just perform a little metal surface, working smoke detector, supervising adult. You know what? Whether you're 3 or 30, we could all use a supervising adult. Okay. So this is how I know Bob sold me legit. Okay. It's totally okay to have questions. Okay. So, but just, that's one way to do it if you can't tell by just looking. Look at all this beautiful stuff. I'm so excited. I'm not washing the silk gazar because no, thank you. But I am going to wash this linen and I'm going to see how much. Do you remember? I forget which video it was where I said I wanted to make a dress for myself out of linen in that pattern book that I showed y'all, because I just wanted to make something. I'm really in a mood to be making things, which is weird because I love sketching more than your average anybody. Okay. And usually I'm just like grinding out ideas in my head through sketches. But this time I really want to be making things. You know, I was so itching to make things. I mended things in my studio during the weekend. So, what is the next step for me? Proof of concept. Okay. I don't know when I'm going to get to this linen dress, but I am going to be making myself a track jacket. I'm going to be drafting a little pattern. Let me know if you want to watch me draft the pattern on camera, and just start making this and then start wearing it. Thank you all very much for the link. Several of you mentioned the same company for the fabric flower company. And so thanks for that. I'm still not sure whether I'm going to incorporate flowers or not, but that was very helpful to have. And yeah, this is where I am right now. So I'm going to start making this, and I will see you in the next video.